Okay.
I mean, reels.
World.
All right. You writing it down or what are you doing? Getting the camera. No. All I hear, I can't tell if it was like key strokes on a laptop or if you're opening paper. You're like, okay. You're like, okay, the world. We're gonna talk about the world.
Okay.
Welcome to Sister Vibes.
All right. Let's go.
Okay, I already went. I'm doing it again. All right.
All right.
Hey guys,
Hey.
welcome to Sister Vibes.
Welcome.
Welcome. I am Tara.
I'm Alicia.
Yes, and this is Sister Vibes. We took a week off last week because I was traveling and it was just a busy week for us. So we're happy to be back and happy that you guys are joining us. Today, we're just going to talk about kind of the world and how it affects our emotions and kind of what we can do to kind of control our emotions in the midst of just this crazy world that we live in because you don't have to look very far to realize that we're living in some hard times, so in dark days. So we're just gonna kind of share some stories, talk about emotions and whatnot. Right?
Yes.
Okay. um,
I ate too much candy.
okay.
Look,
Yeah.
this is how much I've eaten.
Oh, all yours are ready. Mine are still in all the wrappers over here. Yeah, our next video is actually going to be Laffy Taffy jokes. It's going to be our mom joke Laffy Taffy edition. But we're eating candy
I'm all
while
sugared
we're
up.
preparing.
Yeah.
So
That
so
helps with emotions.
yeah,
So,
eating some sugar,
yeah, a
but
little
don't
bit.
get too dependent on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I opened, so you already know what I'm going to ask you.
So
Do
there was
you
this one time.
good? Have any stories you want to share?
I actually have a recent story. We went to, I don't know, it made me feel sad for these people.
Yeah.
The dad was there with his 3 children
Where?
at the school.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
I'll start all over. We went
Okay.
to Aaliyah's school, a little Christmas thing or whatever.
Okay.
And we were standing in line to take pictures, and he was standing there with his 3 kids, and they all seemed kind of like, I don't know, out of it,
Mm-hmm.
not all there, not really wanting to have fun, just kind
Yeah.
of sad. So I was just like, I was like, well, do you want them to go dance? Because they were a bunch of little kids like dancing off to the side around a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
And he said, if they want to, but I don't know if they want to because it's been a hard year. I was like,
Oh,
oh,
okay.
I'm sorry to hear that. I'm not going to pry. I'm not going to ask questions. But he said, then he like opened up to me and was like, oh, I lost my wife in January and the kids haven't adjusted to it yet. And I was
Oh
just
my
like,
gosh.
I'm like sitting there like, but
That's
you
so
could
sad.
tell,
Yeah.
like just with the little kids, I could tell something was going on because they weren't like super happy and cheerful. And I don't know, it was just like really sad. I was like, I almost started crying standing there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was,
Gosh,
but
man. That's
I
tough.
didn't ask questions though, but
Yeah.
it
Aw.
was, I don't know if that really goes along with what our topic is
It
about
is.
though.
It is because, a lot of people, struggle with loss, especially around, excuse me, around the holidays. It's hard. I bet you that's why. Just,
But
it's
I
hard
just
to celebrate whenever
felt,
you've
yeah, for sure.
lost
But I
a loved
felt
one.
for those babies. Those 3 of them, they're all blonde. You could tell they had their mom's hair because the dad's hair was like orange.
Yeah.
Like,
And
I know.
that's really sad. Yeah. Um, just whatever. The first thing that came to mind for me is like when we do go to schools or we're around children who seem to be going through a hard time, we can relate to that a lot because we had a hard time growing up, you and I and our family, the other kids in our family, our siblings.
Yes.
Anyway, and like there was nobody that could step in and kind of be our savior, right? Even though sometimes we wished that somebody would have. Like,
Mm-hmm.
but what God did do through those times is give us hope. Like he would send certain people into our path to like encourage us or help us.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I can remember the specific lady from church, and she was like the homeroom mom, like second and third grade. She went to our church a little later on in years, but like I always remember her taking the time to notice me. Like even like in second grade, we were on a field trip, and I was off eating lunch by myself on this playground because we were eating lunch at a playground. I just remember her coming over and asking me, like, what are you eating? How are you doing? Just talking to me. Just a parent that didn't have to.
Yeah.
But, and then that same lady, because I went to a different middle school and high school than her daughter. But then in high school, she ended up at our church that we were going to, and she ended up being my 12th grade Sunday school teacher. She remembered me, of course, and even then, she still took an interest in my life, and just even though she couldn't save me from my circumstances or my childhood, the stuff we were going
Yeah.
through.
Yeah. She
Just
was a light.
her, yeah, she was being a light to
She was
me,
a
and she
light.
was just kindness. So I knew there was something better out there, and I think for you and those kids and just any kids that God kind of sends us into their path is just an opportunity for us to show God's love to them. Even we
Mm-hmm.
can't save them from their circumstances, but we can be a light and be like hope to them.
Yeah.
Christ in us can do that. And so, you just, being a listening ear to that man probably meant a lot to him,
Yeah.
And you could also pray for them, the little kids too. So
Oh, for
that's so
sure.
tough. Yeah, this
Yeah, I
world
could
is
imagine.
just crazy. So I know there's so many stories of just brokenness and loss and just hurt. And part of that does affect our emotions. Like
Mm-hmm.
can't help but cry. Like it makes me
That's why we
cry.
don't watch the news. That's why
Exactly.
I stay away from the news because I don't want to cry every day about all this, the abuse.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of abuse going on. A lot of
Hmm.
abuse. And
And kids don't deserve it, and it's annoying, especially all these innocent little babies. I understand if, you're trying to discipline your kid, but
right. Spanking is different, and disciplining
uh,
is different than just being angry at their existence,
exactly, exactly.
Not their fault.
No, it's not, and it's so sad,
Yeah.
so sad. There's so many stories too, like and I even quit doing it on Facebook. I quit clicking on the stories just
Yeah.
because they trick you.
Yeah.
And it ends up being a horrible story about a baby that was, I'll never forget this one. There was this baby, I think 9 months old. I guess the girlfriend or the mom was sleeping because she was working late or something like that. And the boyfriend was taking care of the baby. He was drunk and decided to throw the baby up in the air and let it fall down. The baby ended up dying. Like,
Wow. That's horrible. Oh my
who
gosh.
does that kind of stuff? I could not imagine doing that with a baby. Like
Yeah.
that's what's in our world though.
Yeah.
Things
And
like that.
the key to that is that he was drunk.
Yeah.
That's what being drunk does to you.
And
You're
drugs.
not
Drugs and
thinking.
alcohol. Yeah.
Yeah,
It messes you up.
you're not able to think clearly in those moments, and
Yeah, but even I've drank before. I've been
yeah.
drunk before. I've never wanted to take a baby and throw it up in the sky and let it fall to its death. I've never, like,
Yeah.
there's something wrong with your brain if
Yeah,
you do
it's
that.
evil.
It is so
Yeah.
evil. Ugh, but that story made me cry for like 2 hours.
Oh.
Because that poor little baby,
Oh, I
like,
know.
it was a little baby.
Yeah,
Ugh,
and there's no telling how many times he did it too,
yeah, I know.
and what
And then
other kind of abuse was
why
going
was
on.
the mom not watching the baby? Is what I don't understand. I don't know. I've always taken it upon myself to watch all of my babies.
Yeah.
I mean, if I need to take a shower, actually a lot of times I would just put them in the bathroom with me,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I
Same.
always just that's my job.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I can't
Yeah.
go to sleep if my baby's awake. I just never could. Still to
Yeah.
this day when the kids are up, I'm like
Yeah. Same for me
it's so
too.
like
That's just part of being a mom, and you have to make sacrifices for your kids, That's just
Mhm.
you had the baby. It's your
Yeah.
responsibility to take care of it, and
A lot of people don't feel that way though. They would
yeah,
rather work so they can make money and have a better life.
yeah.
That's a topic for another day.
Yeah. Yeah, like
But
yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
I do because I strongly believe that our kids are our responsibility to raise and take
Mhm.
care of and protect,
Yeah.
And that's another thing. Like there's just no protection for these kids anymore. It's like they're a burden instead of like a prized treasure. Like they're gifts from God,
They are. I mean, they can be annoying gifts from
Yes,
God, but
they can. They have their
sometimes,
moments.
yeah,
They have
but we
their
do
moments.
too. We do
Yes.
too as adults. Like I'm sure, we get annoying, but
Yeah. And the thing about kids is they don't know everything. Like
they
they
have to
need to
be
be
taught.
taught.
They're
Yeah.
probably annoying because we're annoying.
Yeah.
We're teaching them.
Right.
So they're learning from us.
Yeah.
So
Exactly. The things that they are doing is because they haven't been taught properly and we're modeling a lot of it for them.
yeah.
And it's just natural. Like let me just tell you the difference between my two girls. The oldest one was like an angel as a kid, like angel,
Yes.
never talked
Yep.
back, never did anything bad, never hit, never had like a evil, hurtful bone in her body, right? The youngest came out swinging. Okay,
Yeah.
she just came out hitting. I'm like, you haven't seen anybody do that. Where did you learn that? Like, she didn't have to learn that. It was just
Yeah,
in
that's
her. We're all
funny.
born with some kind of sinful,
So
you
she's a
know.
fighter and the other one's a lover.
Yes.
That's a lover and a fighter.
Yeah, it's
I
so
got two
funny.
fighters.
And
One
they just
lover and
fight
two
each other.
fighters. Yeah, they actually do.
Yeah.
Kind of funny. Of course, Alex lets her win,
Yeah.
but
Funny.
yeah, it's pretty funny sometimes. Just the
Yeah.
things that she does and says.
I know. Like, where did you get that from? Like, mm-mm. Yeah. Same for us.
Yeah,
It's funny. It's funny, but it isn't because it's annoying.
yeah. Oh, I
Annoying
know.
to deal with. But what do we do in those moments? We correct them and teach them the right things.
Yeah,
And if we're not teaching them the right things, we can't be mad at them for not doing the right things. So,
it's
you know what I
true.
mean? And that's spiritual, physical, every every area that applies to. So,
So back to emotions.
yeah, back to
So,
emotions. This is
like
all
controlling the emotions for me, like I just don't watch the news
yeah,
anymore and I don't click on those stories. That's
yeah,
my control. I mean, I try to escape it versus putting myself through that.
yeah.
It's
I
just so
found
sad. I know it's out there, but
yeah,
I don't want to cry.
I know I found that if I do happen to read a story like that, it affects me for days,
Oh
like
yeah,
days. And
I
I'm
think
like,
about it.
ah, I know, I hate it. I hate it.
Yeah.
Like, I think I told you about this, like, last time we were talking about the Sandy Hook shooting. There was
Yeah.
like an anniversary of it recently, I think. But after I saw that story, I literally just cried for like 20 minutes because my daughter was that age group of the people, the little kids who were killed. And it makes me want to like pull my kids out of school,
Oh
stay
yeah.
huddled up in my home. But
Yeah.
that's my natural reaction to things like that. But I know that God doesn't want us to do that. I mean,
He
yes, He
wants
wants
us to
us.
have faith that
Yeah,
he's going to take care of our children.
exactly, because they're
And
His too.
honestly, if it turns out that that doesn't happen, there's a reason.
Yeah,
You know
it's
what I mean?
His
And
plan.
a lot of people don't agree with that,
Yeah,
which sometimes it's even hard for me. Like I could not imagine anything happen to my children. Like that would just be the worst. But I know it's according to his plan.
exactly.
So
Right.
I
And the
don't know.
thing about His plan is like, you see that bad things happen sometimes, but the reason that He allows it and the reason why they happen to begin with, I think we've talked about this, is just sin in the world.
Mhm.
It's a broken world. The reason He allows it to happen is because He uses it for good. He turns it around and uses it for good if we allow that. Like He's always allowing it to draw us closer to Him,
Closer to him. Yeah.
right? Like us,
And
our childhood.
the world wants to take God out of everything
Yeah.
and then wonders where he's at.
Yeah. You didn't
Like
want
that's
Him.
like,
Exactly.
hello. I
You
mean,
didn't
school
want Him.
shootings. Well, We're not even allowed to say, we can't even do what was it? The Pledge of Allegiance under God or something like that?
Yeah, they were trying to take that out, yeah. But
did they?
No,
Oh.
they still do it at the girls' schools. They still do
Oh,
it.
that's good.
Yeah.
Don't do it at ours.
Yeah, it just depends on, because this Arkansas is, country.
I don't mind that though. I don't
I
mind
don't
that.
either.
I actually had a conversation on Instagram with a guy saying that he is not looking forward to Christmas because it's so stressful.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm like, why?
Yeah.
It shouldn't be like that.
Yeah, we're putting.
But I'm filled with peace. Yeah, I'm filled with this peace. Nothing ever like that is ever going to stress me out ever again.
Right.
Like Christmas should never stress anyone out. But I kind of felt bad. He's one of the guys that notices my glow. So I feel like I'm having like an impact on him. What I told him, what a waste of a Christmas.
Yeah.
What's the point? Don't even get together.
Yeah.
If you feel that way about your family, stop hanging out with them.
Yeah.
Like people do that. I feel like they feel obligated.
Yeah. It's like a tradition.
Yeah, exactly. But they hate it. Like why? Why would you do that? I'll never understand that.
Yeah. And too, like we can, talking about emotions, there are things we can do to help that, like if we're angry or bitter or there's resentment or just sadness, there are things that we can do to clear those things from our heart so that we can enjoy the season, enjoy what does the season really mean. It's about celebrating the hope that we have in Christ. That's what Christmas really means. So part of it is spending time with your family and having good times, and if you can't have a good time with your family, there's probably something wrong that needs to be dealt with.
Oh yeah. People don't deal with anything anymore.
And
they just put themselves in these positions, and then complain about it. And it's weird. 10 years I did that with my ex-husband. It was horrible. I hated it. I was like, why? But then when I hang out with you, like I'll never feel that way. I love hanging out with you and your family. There's never any drama ever. Good. Do you know what I'm saying? It's always like just a good time. And I feel like everybody's family should be like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just don't understand the
complaint. Not that we've never had issues or anything like that. It's just how, working through it and trying to be at peace. Mm-hmm. Because there is a verse too. I can't remember exactly which one. Could be in James or somewhere. I'll have to post that at the bottom where it is. But it talks about how as Christians we're called to live peaceably with everyone. As it depends on us. So even if we're having issues with somebody and maybe it wasn't our fault, to be at peace with them means that we extend forgiveness and we extend mercy and say, I'm sorry, things are like this, whatever. Because that's the part that depends on us. Now, if they come back and say, well, I don't want you in my life, you did what you could. Move on, let it go. And God may have a way of reconciling that later.
I love that you said that because that's how I feel like we're both that way. Yeah. We're very forgiving, regardless of all the stuff we've been through. We will still accept people.
Yeah.
We might, distance ourselves.
Healthy, yes. There are boundaries.
Exactly.
Gotta have healthy boundaries.
But we do, for ourselves, forgive so easily. Yeah. A lot of people see it as a weakness. I feel like it's a strength. I feel like being so forgiving with people, and I've been through some stuff. I've been hurt a lot. So, but I never would wish anybody anything bad. I just never. I don't care what you've done to me.
Yeah, the thing about bitterness and resentment and unforgiveness is as much as you hope that the other person cares, they don't. Nope. You gotta get rid of that for yourself, for your own health.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we talk about our family and how we grew up in a hard childhood and all that, but I can say that God has helped me forgive, and I don't have any bitterness towards them. If I see them in a room, I will be kind to you. I don't care.
Absolutely.
But am I going to be your best friend? Probably not, because there needs to be healthy boundaries if the relationships are toxic. Healthy boundaries, healthy distances. Does that mean that you can't be kind? No, you should be. You should love and be kind and forgive, but same time, like for your friend, if he has that, I don't know if you are friends, but
No, it's not like that.
okay, the dude that you're kind of talking to, like, for him, his solution would be try to do anything he can to resolve the situation. And if it doesn't work, leave a boundary there. You don't have to
Yeah. I
put
feel
yourself
like
through
he's
it,
too old for that.
Yeah.
And everything is just stuck. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Nobody's going to make decisions. I don't talk to him that much about it,
Yeah.
but he just mentioned that. And I was just like, I just couldn't imagine, but I
Right.
can imagine because I've been there. But now, today, there's no way. I wouldn't
Yeah.
allow it. I usually get so overwhelmed and stressed
Yeah.
out because
Yes.
it's just,
Good. And
yeah.
that's good. It's
So,
wise. It's wise. Like I said, that's
exactly.
part of the
So,
healthy boundaries.
right,
Love
right.
them from a
Yeah.
distance. And if you see them, love them, be kind. But that doesn't mean you got to be
Absolutely.
best friends with them,
Nope.
And that's
I
important as Christians. We need to guard who is in our circle, like good
I had
company.
issues with that though before because it's just like it's your family
Yeah.
and I felt obligated, but I'm not.
No,
I don't
not.
think God wants that.
No,
So,
he wouldn't say bad company corrupts good behavior in his word if it wasn't true.
yeah.
you know so yes, love, be kind, share truth, but don't be best friends with people who are going to lead you down or make you feel horrible about yourself. Life
Yeah.
is too short for that.
Mm-hmm.
So that, yeah. And emotions, right? Being angry, I mean, and it's natural to feel those things because we're human beings, but
Mm-hmm.
the part where it becomes a problem is if we can't think of that person without getting angry. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
think, forget them, and you know what I mean? In a respectful way. Like, they shouldn't have real estate in your brain for
Yep.
that long because they're bringing you down. Forgive them. Let it go for you.
For
They
you.
might not
Yeah.
care. They might hate you forever, but you don't do that to them because
Right.
it's stealing your peace, and your joy, and you're not able to enjoy the season. This is a great
Holding on
season.
to anger is like holding on to a hot coal, right? And
Yeah.
expecting the other person to get burned. They're
Yeah.
not going to get burned. You're going to get burned.
You're hurting
So,
yourself. Yeah.
exactly.
Well, and the biblical side of that is if you don't forgive them, God says He won't forgive you.
True.
So,
Well,
you know,
that's a more like serious.
it is.
Oh, that's deep.
It's true. Yeah. I'm gonna put the verse on the bottom, guys. I didn't make that up. Yeah. No, but seriously, like, how can we expect God to just forgive us all the time? And we're not willing to extend that same forgiveness to others.
I agree.
We
The
offend
world
God every day.
would be a better place if people were
Yeah.
just more forgiving. So what if they cut you off? Driving. So what? You don't need to
Move
do it
on.
to them.
Yeah.
Like, chill.
Let
You
me
don't
just
need to
tell
get out of
you
you
another
don't
verse.
need to get out of
Vengeance.
your car and throw
God says,
hands.
God says, vengeance is mine.
Exactly.
Don't
I've
take
always
revenge
felt
on
that
people.
way.
God will get them.
Oh yeah.
Don't worry about that. Just focus on doing what you need to do to be at peace with people. Not to say that you shouldn't speak truth, shouldn't, and that could be a problem too. People don't take or speak to others about their offenses. Like if somebody offends you or they sin against you, you are the one that's supposed to take it to them and say, hey, this is what you've done. This has hurt me. Like we need to work this out.
Yeah.
Because sometimes people don't realize that they have hurt you, but the Bible says it's on us if we feel like somebody's sinning against us. We need to go to them and talk to them. Now, if they don't listen, you take another person with you. And then if they still don't listen, and this is all for Christians.
Biblical. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's biblical too.
I couldn't imagine doing all of that though. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Have you ever done all that?
Yeah, I do bring stuff up to people if, most of the time, if I can't get over it myself.
Yeah.
If it is like really affecting me, yes, I will confront
Okay.
people. But if it's like whatever, if it's something minor, no. But if it's something big, yes, I have, confronted people in love.
Yeah, for sure.
Most of the time it gets worked out,
Yeah.
So
Communication.
yes.
Like people.
Harbor it and don't be like, oh, they did this to me, to everyone else. Just go tell them, hey, you kind of hurt my feelings here.
Yeah.
And usually they'll apologize.
Yeah.
Most people are, I mean, I say that most people aren't evil. Some are. But, if they know that like if I knew that I hurt somebody's feelings, I would want them to tell me, because like I'm not like
Absolutely.
that. I'm not
Yeah.
somebody who would purposely hurt your feelings. So you may be doing them a favor by letting them know I probably shouldn't talk like that to people because it's hurting their feelings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it helps us grow, all of us on every side. So I don't even know if that was on topic, but
That's okay. It needed to be said.
yeah. So
But you
anyway,
could.
yeah. So
What
you
time
know,
is it?
God created us with emotions for a reason. It helps us to be better people. We just have to make sure we rein them in and use them appropriately, you know. So, like for instance, us, right? We feel so sad about these news stories that we hear about kids and stuff. And what does it make us do? Instead of crying for days, it makes us more compassionate towards kids, right? Like
Yeah.
it makes me want to help kids, and so I could use that to help others and be a light whenever I see a situation that I know a kid is in that's hard. Like I can be more loving towards them, you know. So
Kids love it when you wave at them, like at the
yeah,
kids' school. Just a simple acknowledgement
yes,
does wonders for little kids.
yeah.
It's pretty cool. When I volunteered up at their school,
Mm.
I volunteered for like 3 years, 4 years, something like that. But just I got to know certain little kids,
Mm-hmm.
like, and they were usually the ones that like needed that little bit of attention the most. Like they would come hug me. You know, they always remembered me. I don't know their names. I usually never really knew their names. It was just like sight, just
Mm-hmm.
seeing them.
Yeah,
But yeah, they'd just
same
get
thing.
so excited just seeing me. And of course, I would get excited seeing them too. So
Yeah,
that acknowledgement,
yeah, it's the
it
same for
just
me
does so
too.
much. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's all they need. You know,
Hmm.
they don't need. I mean, it would be great for their situation to be different at home, but
Yeah,
like
but we can't
literally,
save them all. If I could
yeah.
save them all, I would. It would be
Yeah. And
amazing.
another thing that God has taught me through it is if we, you know, save them or whatever, they would have no need for him. Like
Hmm.
he needs to be their savior. He
I
needs to
was,
get, you know what I
and
mean?
yeah, I
So,
like that. It's
like,
true.
yeah.
And he helps, he uses us to help too,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
kind of
To
cool
be a
to be a
light, be
part of that.
love.
Yeah.
Yeah. Show them that there is hope and it's him, you know? So, and that, like I said, is what helped me understand and know that there are legit Christians out there. Like God's love is real, and it was shown to me through just simple acts from that
Yeah.
lady I was telling you about. Just coming over. I was sitting by myself outside at a playground eating my lunch, and she came over just to ask me, "What are you eating?" You know, it's so simple. Like we don't
Yep.
think about that. We think we have to have all the answers and have this
No.
big miraculous, plan to save somebody,
Yeah.
but we don't. We just need to show them love,
Yeah.
in that situation. Now
And
about the
kindness. Yeah.
yeah, and kindness,
Love and kindness.
right?
Just
But anyway,
so
yeah.
funny.
So yes. So moral of the story, just this world's crazy. It's dark. You're gonna read things you don't want to read. Oh, the thing I was gonna tell you, craziness is, um, I have like two teacher friends who are both Christians, and a couple years ago, one of them was telling me they had a kid in their class who seemed possessed, like did crazy stuff, said crazy things. And they're both, one was a kindergarten teacher, one's first grade. So these are young kids, 5 and 6 years old, possessed. Okay. That was 2 years ago. And then another friend who's teaching right now was telling me about a kid in their class that talks about having a evil spirit and like a higher power inside of them that's evil, and they do crazy things in class like throwing themselves down, screaming. It's
Yeah. They've
pretty
watched too
crazy.
many movies.
Yeah, but it's yeah, pretty crazy that and I think a lot of and these are Christian teachers, just two out of the
Mhm.
thousands and thousands, and I'm just thinking how many other kids are like that, and
Yeah.
they
Hmm.
kind of make it seem like they have behavioral issues, but really the problem is spiritual.
Hmm.
This kid, like, is 6, but he talks on an adult level, like some of the words he uses and stuff. So he's possessed, and my friend was, just talking to me, like saying, I've done everything. I don't know what to do anymore. And I had just so happened to read, I don't even know why I guess somebody might need to hear this. I don't know, but in the Bible, where when there are certain demons that cannot be cast out, because the disciples were trying to cast out a demon and they couldn't. Like, it wouldn't leave. And Jesus said, some can only be cast out through prayer and fasting. Like, they can't be cast out because the disciples got powers. Remember, Jesus gave them the power to cast out demons, heal people, etc. But they faced this one that they couldn't, and they were like, "Why can't we do that?" And Jesus is like, "Well, this spirit needed to be cast
prayed
out."
for.
Yeah, prayer and fasting, as in.
How do you make a kid fast? That's not your
the
kid.
You fast for them. Yeah. You fast for them on their behalf and continue praying for them.
No, you don't get any lunch today. Like, what?
No. Anyway, so that's why I was doing the sugar fast the other week, is because I was fasting for her on her behalf and for the kid. But the point I was saying is that I'm in shock that a 6-year-old is possessed, but it can happen, and it is happening all over. Like we don't view the world through a spiritual lens, and sometimes we will say, "Oh, that kid just has a behavioral problem," but really,
I feel like a lot of it is
spiritual warfare.
Media too.
Yeah.
Yes. The movies that these children are watching.
Yes, that's where it's coming from. I can even tell you about that. That could be another topic. Like for me, I've experienced that. And I was just, we were just talking about that recently. How I'll just tell you, like years ago, before I really got serious in my walk with the Lord, I loved scary movies. It was like one of my favorite things. Scary movies. I liked them. I was interested in them. I never really got scared. Well, I used to watch like really scary movies about people being possessed, and you remember Paranormal Activity?
Yeah.
Like that series. Well, for years and years, I would be sleeping at night and I'd wake up and see a shadowy figure at the foot of my bed. Like for real. And I would be just paralyzed. Like, am I really
seriously?
Yeah, for sure. This is real. I'm not joking. This is real. I would just sit there and I would stare, and it would just creep off into the corner. And at first I was like, did I really see that? I saw that many times, right?
Yeah.
So, I starting to get closer to the Lord. But then I watched Paranormal Activity twice, or 2 different ones in the same night.
Yeah.
That night, I woke up, there were like 6 or 7 figures around my bed, shadowy figures. And I remember just like moving over, like jumping into the middle of my bed, like where my husband was, like grabbing onto him. This was for real. And I have not watched a scary movie since. I was allowing that in.
Yeah.
From watching.
I feel like movies. It's not good for your brain, and I say that about most movies like that. Yeah. It's not. But
it's not even about my brain. Like that was legit. Like the spiritual world that I didn't see. We can't always see it, but God was like letting me see.
Yeah, I've never experienced anything like that.
He was letting me see it because He wanted me to know this is what you're allowing into your home.
Yeah, He's opening your eyes in the middle of the night. That's insane.
Was so scary.
But that's kind of cool, though.
It is. I think that's cool. I have not watched another one since, and I won't. And God used that to show me that even, the things that we're watching on TV, even though we may never do it, we're entertaining ourselves with sin and evil things. Like we're allowing it in. And
I don't like watching any type of sex scenes.
Yeah, same for me too.
I just don't see that. I feel like that ruins the whole movie. Like, why is it about that? Why do you need to put that in there? Like, even love stories. Mine is like, even a lot of cussing. I don't care too much for a lot of cussing. Love movies. I like romantic comedies or, just like, I don't know why. I've always liked those type of movies. But like whenever they go and put that in there, I get sick of having to fast forward stuff. Yeah. Like, why do you just leave it out? Why do you have to ruin the movie for me?
We don't need to be in that moment,
What's so funny about that? It's so unrealistic. That's not how it is.
Right. That's true. It's all lies. No.
It's lies. And then people watch this stuff and they have these expectations. This is a whole thing. I would love to have a conversation about this.
Oh, yeah.
They have these expectations of what it should be like when you're married, when you're with someone. And if it's not like that, they're unhappy and then they go cheat.
Yes.
Exactly. I feel like watching stuff that they put on TV is really detrimental for marriages, for it just, and
Oh
I
yeah, I
experienced it.
agree.
So that's
Yeah, I've
why.
got a whole topic on that too.
So we should talk about that
We
because that
should.
would be
We'll
very
do that.
interesting. I have a lot of like, I don't understand. Like, it drives me nuts. The world is so stupid. Love, peace, positivity. The world is stupid.
What's wrong with you? No. No, I mean, I feel like God probably looks at us and says, "What's wrong with you? Like,
Oh
why are
yeah,
you doing
for
that? It
sure.
leads to destruction and death
Yep. But
and
it's all
ruin."
about money.
Yeah, and
Money
pleasure.
makes the world go
Yeah.
round. Oh,
I have said it for years and I'll say it again. Satan is in the entertainment business,
oh,
guys.
absolutely,
He's running
100%.
Hollywood. He's in.
People get paid millions of dollars to act like somebody else.
Right.
What?
And then by the end of it,
Millionaire?
they don't even know who they are anymore, you
Like
know?
killing themselves.
They
It's
all go
horrible.
crazy. Yeah, it is.
Exactly. It's so backwards. Everything is so
Yeah,
backwards.
it's
Oh.
sad. It's a sad world. It's a
It
sad
is.
world,
It is.
you know.
But what
But
can we do?
we're called to be a light. We are called to walk the right way and to
Even
point
though
as
that's hard sometimes, it is very difficult being surrounded by the world that we're surrounded by. All the peer pressures. Just imagine,
oh
what the
yeah,
kids are going to be going through.
that is
We didn't
why
we didn't go through it as bad,
I
but
know.
just the more
With
time
every
goes by, the more technology, the more access that they have, it's
with every
stressful.
generation, it's like worse and worse things.
Yeah.
I'm just like and that's another reason why we should be teaching them the right things so that everyone else isn't teaching them the wrong things. They'll already know it. So anyway, yeah. So crazy worlds that we live in, and
Yes.
we covered a lot of things.
Yes, we
And
did,
no
which we
offense to
typically
anybody.
do.
Yeah. No offense to anybody. Our goal, again, is just to share truth. It's truth. It's not our truth. It's God's truth. That's what I have to remind myself of. If people want to be offended by the things that I believe, it isn't me. It's God. Like, you're offended with him.
Yeah.
Take it up with him. I'm just trying to help
Exactly.
you. I'm trying to help you see the truth. And that's what we're called to do. Just be a light, love others, show them the truth. Because some people, they say, "Oh, well, we just need to love them no matter what." But are you really loving them if you know that what they're doing is going to lead them to hell? That's not love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we need to share the truth in love, meaning don't call them weirdos. Say, God has a plan for you. And that's not it, So anyway. Yeah. So thank you guys for listening and watching.
Yes, thank you.
This is kind of all over the place. There's so many great topics that we can really talk about and dig into. I keep feeling like a piece of hair is on my arm, but I can't find
It
it.
drives me nuts. That happens in the back of my shirt.
Yeah.
Like,
Same.
I don't care where I'm at. I'll dig it out because it tickles and I don't like it.
That happens to me on the inside, right?
Yes, on the inside. It'll
Like, how
tickle
does it
like
get
a
on
part
there?
of my back. I think when I'm putting my bra on, it grabs my hair, and then when I
Yeah.
go like that, it stays.
Yeah.
I think that's just my hair is so sticky right now.
That happens to me, and I'm constantly doing that too. But
I always look
not
silly.
the only
I'm like,
one.
no, you're not. Long hair problems. Are you letting it grow out? Or are you gonna get it cut again? You don't know?
I don't know. I always just let it grow out to a certain point where I can't stand it anymore, and then I cut it, and then I
Mine's
let
getting
it grow
so
out.
long. It's like
Mine, it's still yours is way longer than mine.
it's almost down. It's down my back.
Yeah.
I like long hair though. That's just
Same.
me.
Your hair is your glory. That's the Bible verse. It's like God.
We're gonna make so many people mad.
No offense. There's a Bible verse. All of the stuff I'm saying
Your
is
hair
from the
is your
Bible.
glory. You shouldn't be cutting it and dyeing it. No, I'm just kidding.
The dyeing part. But
it's actually not healthy for your hair to do that.
Oh yeah, of course.
I learned that the hard way because I used to dye my hair, so I bleached it.
Yeah, the reason I don't cut my hair short is because it makes me look like a 12-year-old. Which I might like the older I get. I don't know, but
maybe that's why women get shorter.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
so they can look young. Anyway, but thank you guys.
We're so random.
I know, sorry.
These are our conversations, though. This is how we talk.
Yes, it is. We bounce around, especially when I have my estrogen patch on.
After pre-workout.
Yes. And we're about to eat a bunch of sugar and do Laffy Taffy jokes. So y'all tune in for that video.
Yeah, that's what's wrong.
Yeah. And I had one, so but mine is the estrogen.
1,
Anyway,
2,
but
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot of shit. Wow. Anyway, if they were all strawberry, I would be like killing them. I love the strawberry. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. We're going to close on this video, but tune in for our Laffy Taffy mom joke vid. It's going to be good. If the jokes are good, we'll see.
Yeah. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. But until next time, thank you guys for watching and tuning in. Come back again sometime if you want. Don't feel like you have to or anything, but it'd be cool if you did. So, is this our thing? Deuces. Dookie.
Dookie. Dookie.
Bye. Bye, Alicia.
Bye.